Pickacard, the T on thee. Here are your options, and I'll see what you're reading. Hi, Pile 1. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 1, you chose this lovely image on the right-hand side of your screen. The downloads that I got from this and the T on thee is that your crown chakra is popping. You are definitely more connected now than you ever have been. And if that's not necessarily the case, I feel like it is becoming more publicly acknowledged, like friends, family, the public, whatever that means to you, is actually seeing you almost in real time channel and download messages, even if you're not really totally aware of that. And this can come in multiple different forms. This can look like perhaps you're sitting with friends or coworkers or family members and you're having a conversation and you say something verbatim, almost exactly what somebody else was thinking. And they're like, wow, you know, how did you do that? Or you have the uncanny ability to bring up topics and discuss things that all of a sudden somebody else comes to the table and they are discussing or bringing up. And, you know, something that wouldn't be very typical. So it seems to be a little bit of magic surrounding you, and that is part of the chatter. Pile number 1, I also got that people are talking just about your wisdom overall. I feel like when people discuss you, and the T on the currently is that you have a lot of wisdom to offer, and that a lot of people actually come to you for advice. So that's kind of cool, right? You're also highly favored, and I feel like that is from people on the 3D. I tend to forget a lot about people on this world. I know it sounds really weird, but I feel like you're being favored from people around you, bosses, mentors, teachers, friends, family. It could be anyone really, but I feel like you are currently gaining more favor with them, and not like we're, you know, necessarily trying to, but I just feel like that is part of the T, is that, oh, you got to, you know, I heard be careful with pile number 1 because they are highly favored. So that could be you. Also, I heard in my downloads from wallflower to garden. And I know in my head that really sounded so much more dramatic than it does in real life. But here we are, you and I, talking about how once upon a time, maybe you were overlooked, or you tried to blend in. You tried to go along with like the status quo, or you tried not to be noticed, or you went unnoticed some way, somehow, right? But I feel like now it's almost like 1, 2, 3, all eyes on me. People are just riveted. So I'm going to go ahead and do the shuffle on what is a T on thee in 3, 2, 1. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to my channel. Don't forget, if you're liking this kind of content, do like, share, comment, subscribe. Pile number 1, the T on thee. You have the elements. Back to basics. You have the coven with soul family. You have flying ointment. What? Let loose. You have the witching hour. You have moon water. You have witching herbs. I'm getting a lot of energy on my crown chakra once again. So pile number one, I'm going to say that the T on the is definitely that you have a lot of wisdom, that you seem energetically and wisdom-wise so much older than your natural age, that it is pretty wild, and you surprise people over and over again as to how you get these downloads or these messages. We also have the coven. So the T on the is that you have a soul tribe, a soul family. People could be talking about maybe you are witchy, that maybe you have a coven, or that's something that they are simply speculating on or using verbatim in a very, very loose manner, okay? So it doesn't necessarily have to be, but this is what's being talked about, is that you have a set of friends who are carbon copies or very similar to you. And I mean, why wouldn't you? So pile number one, the flying ointment. I mean, I don't know if I've ever, I can't even say this without laughing. That's a mature 12-year-old in me, okay? We're going to see where that goes, right? Because there could be a little bit of like, people want to talk about your smex life, that kind of a thing. And I feel like with a moon being present, it is of great mystery as far as like what's going on, who are you being intimate with, and things like that. I don't know why people would be interested in that, but I feel like that is the T. It's that everybody wants to know, like, who are you sleeping with? Who are you around? And who is, I heard, that is so crass, who's getting it? Sorry, but that's what I heard. So pile number one, the witching hour. Yeah, the T on the is that you have a lot of things going on. I feel like that you are manifesting and that you have a lot of knowledge of the occult, of the other side, of spirit animals, of things that are very witchy, I guess, right? Things that are not, well, I guess it's becoming more mainstream because here we are on YouTube talking about things like that. And the T on the is also that people are learning a little bit more about who you are. There seems to be a lot of great mystery. People want to uncover you, take that however you will. They want to unveil you, but also people want to like reveal you. I feel like you do have, you know, it seems like more prominent almost every reading we get haters, but I feel like if you're not getting haters, you're not doing something right, because if you don't, you know, stand on business, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. So anyways, keeping it pushing right here with a moon water, this could be reset. I feel like people really see and they're interested in how is it that you reset? How do you revamp yourself? How do you, I heard rehydrate, and maybe your skin could be very supple. Maybe there's something about your skincare routine and your sleep hygiene that people are really interested in as well. So witching herbs, yeah, with nourishment. So people want to know, like, what is your routine? Are you drinking different kinds of teas in order to help you? That you seem just really different. You seem a lot more centered. And then I heard a little jab. I heard self-centered. Well, you know, I mean, if you don't care for you, then who is? That's, I guess, my only comment here. But pile number one, the T on the is that people want to really know, and they have an open ear whenever your name is popping up and you're not around. They're like, ooh, tell me about this person, they seem kind of different and I don't really know, what do you think about them? And so they're like, well, they're really wise, they have a lot of things going on, we don't really understand it, but this person has a habit of drinking this kind of a tea, or they have this little ritual they do, or they go for a walk around this time, or I've seen them post about, you know, and so on and so forth. So I feel like people are jumping on your social media in order to gain a little bit more tea. It seems like your energy is very protected anyways. And I feel like whatever is revealed, whatever is quote tea, you don't really care anyways. So yeah, see what else we have right here. And I do have YouTube clothing available in case these get a little bit wild. And oh, good. So you have the Page of Wands. Yeah, I feel like people feel a certain way towards you. They feel like, oh my gosh, they get excited. I feel like you get their mojo going. And I can't help but continue hearing in my head, push it. So maybe you're pushing the envelope, you're pushing status quo, you're pushing yourself out of comfort zones, but also I feel like you are pushing other people out of complacency is what I'm hearing. And this is very magnetic. I feel like you are sparking also people's mojos. They're like intrigued with you, right? And I feel like they're also sparked to some kind of action. I'm hearing call to action. So those of you that have businesses, you know what that is. And then for, you know, the rest of you, just, it is exactly what it sounds. You like are motivating people to act one way or another. It's like around you, the T on you is that people can't be neutral. They're either all in or all out, or they're going to weigh in with an opinion, or like there's a lot of intrigue again. But let's see the T on the, okay, with the 2 of coins. So the T on the is that you could be juggling. You could be very talented, multi-talented, have a lot of tasks going on, a lot of things in your life. You could be really juggling things that are of equal value, such as like a home business job, a home job, and then another job. I don't know, like a personal business, and then a 9 to 5 kind of a thing. Whether you work night shift, day shift, doesn't make a difference. But pile number 1, I'm sorry. So the T on the is that you are divinely protected, that you even have a lot of peace all about this, right? That somehow, some way you are juggling, and it seems like maybe you might be mistaken a little bit for show off at times, but I do feel like you're listening to your inner dialogue. And that's one of the downloads that I actually got for you, is that you could be very clairaudient, and other people want to hear what you hear. They want to understand how you do it, quote unquote, right? And it's interesting because I feel like you don't gatekeep anything, but we're going to keep it moving. The T on the, ooh, pile number 1 is, yeah, you definitely have impeccable hearing. And even if it's not like the best hearing on the 3D right here, I feel like the 5D, the spirit world, will definitely tell you what is going on. And you might even be more privy to that, because that tends to filter out a lot of nonsense, a lot of, you know, this, that, and the other. But your words, you do not mince with words. I feel like you could be incredibly poised, very guarded as well. And people could fear your word, actually. So with the Queen of Swords, you always run the risk of being aloof or being seen as aloof. And the T on the is that maybe perhaps you've been alone for a long time. Maybe perhaps you have suffered a loss of a spouse, that kind of a thing. Or simply by choice, you've been alone for a long time. And the thing that people mistaken quite often about the Queen of Swords is that she could be seen as a BIT, right? Not a bit, but you know, itch. So I feel like you could be mistaken. You know, the T on the is that maybe you're really sharp with your words. Maybe you could bruise egos with it. I feel like you get to the point, you suffer no fools. And also, you are not here to put a bomb on people's egos. I feel like that's the last thing. So I feel like that's why there is so much chatter around, because I do feel gossip, actually. Just, you know, that's the tea. That is the tea. People are talking about how astute you are as well. What? Quite unexpected. So pile number 1, the T on the is also that in spite of that you, I feel like a lot of people have been privy to your inner world, okay, that you've let a lot of people in, maybe faster than you typically do, that people understand that, you know, while you might be strict and to the point and things like that, that you have a heart of gold, because the Queen of Swords has a lot of love to give. And this is a queen who has been, I would say, the most hurt by love, probably. And it's just really changed your exterior. It's served to put up a barrier, right? You're not so quick to trust when it comes to matters of the heart and things like that. But I feel like people feel deep connection with you. They feel an emotional bond. They feel, and I'm not talking like trauma bond. I'm not talking about bonding over like shallow things. I feel like they feel seen. They feel heard. Even if you're not of the same cloth, if you're not of the same age bracket and things like that, I feel like people feel comfortable in confiding with you or gaining your perspective. I just saw 1010 right now. And people can actually really come to you with a 1010 when they are having a lot of endings, when things are going south. People, the T on you is that if things are going south, talk to pile number 1, because they have great perspective. They have the ability to really narrow things down and get to the heart of the matter. Yeah, the T on the is that you are a lot softer than you look. Let's see. Let's get a little bit more energy here. More, please. I feel like you also have a lot of a golden retriever energy around you, you know, meaning that people just want to be like, love me, pile number one. So this kind of confirms everything that we just talked about. You and I, me. With the Ten of Swords right here, people know that you have endured a lot of betrayals, a lot of sadness, a lot of endings. I just saw 11-11 right now. So maybe this could be like a lot of instability with the home, or the home front, or people that you thought felt like home, things like that. And now you are only going to allow people that are part of your soul family. I'm also hearing that part of the chatter, part of the tea on the is that you've done some soul retrieval, or that you have the ability to do soul retrieval on others. I'd like a little bit more information, please. For pile one, we have the Devil. Pile number one, we have a massive ability to focus, to really pinpoint exactly what the problem is, where the problem is. And I feel like, oh, I didn't even notice these are little bound people in the background. Okay, so I'm going to say that you, maybe perhaps the tea on the is that you have a lot of masculine energy in you, whether you're divine masculine or feminine, doesn't make a difference. And I feel like you are quick to action. Okay, something about action, acting on what you see, whether it's through words or deeds, but everything is in sync, everything is in line with you. I'm seeing two little birdies. So cute. They're like playing through the forest. In real life, by the way. You know, in the forest, my other method of divination. But I feel like, yeah, you could be a seer as well. I mean, definitely very, very gifted. And people want to know, what is it that you download from the other side? I feel like that's the biggest message right here. The tea on the last two for pile number one. Okay, with a Five of Swords. I feel like part of the tea on the is that people think or assume when they initially meet you is that you could be a little bit like all out for yourself, or you can do whatever it is that is good for you. Now we have a stalemate connection right here, like, and I'm hearing the old me. The old me is dead and gone, dead and gone. Don't cancel me. So I'm just going to say she is holding the Three of Swords. Yeah, so you could carry this heartache a little bit on your sleeve. And I feel like maybe when you're out and about, you can tend to kind of get in your head a little bit, and people wonder, what is it that you are thinking about? They know that it is something kind of intimate. They would like to be privy to that knowledge. But yeah, so I feel like people do quite often misunderstand you, but those that are close to you or have spent time with you, they have learned to, I guess, unravel the great mystery that is pile number one. The tea on the is, okay, so we have the Four of Coins right here, and maybe you are looking out into the world and you have no ability to see the star right there for yourself. Maybe you have to navigate yourself or walk through a lot of darkness, dark points by yourself. And the tea on the is that, you know, if anybody can understand, pile number one can understand. And I think about, I think that fairy tale, the Rapunzel, where she throws her hair out the window to allow that person to climb up. I need to read my fairy tales over again because I'm actually forgetting them. But anyways, maybe perhaps you have long hair, maybe perhaps, and this is your connection. You have a long connection to Mother Earth, an ability to kind of filter things out and gain wisdom and clarity through that method as well. They say sometimes that the hair is connected. It's like an antenna, your antenna to the other side, right? Very much like a old school radio. So pile number one, we have the Six of Coins. Yeah, I feel like the tea on the is that sometimes you could be a little bit indecisive. And I feel like this is warranted. I mean, I told you the other ones were last cards, and here we go, pulling another one. So I feel like there could be a little bit of you making a decision and then changing your mind. But I feel like it is all based on clarity, how much information you have at the moment, that you're not afraid to pivot and change your mind. And that's one thing that I feel like people want to hold you to. really higher standards, rigorous standards, things that they would never subject themselves to, right? If you say something or do something, they expect you to fulfill it like to the 10th degree. And perhaps that was the old you, because I keep getting that the old me is dead and gone kind of a song. So I feel like right now you are really deliberating, that really taking your time to really look at things in a different manner. And it's not simply about what is bearing fruit currently, but you want that produce to be able to be productive year round, okay? And so I think that you are only investing time and energy into things that is a sure thing, as sure can be, right? So yeah, I feel like also you're generosity people. The T on the is that you're very generous with your time, generous with your resources, and generous with your ability to really think about other people's situations before you give advice. I feel like it's very, very generous of you. I feel like you could be known for this, by the way, in your friend group or family or both, things like that, or even in public if you have social media, or if you have a channel, or if you have like Rumble, or I'm all Tumblr. Any of those. Anyways, so that is what I have for you. Let me know what you think. If this resonates with you, keep in mind, these are general readings. They are not personal readings. If you'd like one of those, they are available in the description box below in my Etsy store. Otherwise, I'll see you in a future reading. Much love. Namaste. Hi, friend. My name is Grisel with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 2. What is a T on thee? What is a T on thee? What is being said, speculated upon, anything spoken? What's a T on thee? We're going to go ahead and actually do the downloads first. You chose this image on the right-hand side of the screen. And the first thing, even when I opened up my camera, and I even thought about changing my mind about doing this with this image, but I kept getting a lot of jealousy, a lot of envy. So hang in there with me, because I know it's not like uplifting, but I feel like even people that are just talking notice other people get jealous of you quickly. So I feel like if you don't have haters, you're doing it wrong. So your growth is envied. I feel like even people though that are like envying you and stuff, I feel like they are admiring you. So they wind up being secret admirers. You have great poise. You could be very clairaudient. You could be a channeler, a mystic, a psychic, a tarot reader, a water scryer, a fire scryer. You could be a dream decipherer. It's not even a term, but you could have that ability to really interpret dreams as well. So something about you is very magical, very mystical. And I think that that's why people are drawn to you to begin with. But you do have a lot of, I heard clout. You have a lot of clout. Okay. But one thing I did notice is that the image has a lot of, it's covered by lace, right? Her throat chakra is covered by lace. And I feel like people just really want to understand more about the words that you are speaking. It's almost like you are downloading things from high on up and other people just can't really totally understand it. They kind of get it. And that's because they haven't really developed the spiritual awakening thus far. So you could be around people that are very different from you as of now. But that is part of the plan in order for you to maybe initiate them and so on and so forth. So pile number 2, I'm going to go ahead and do the shuffle in 3, 2, 1. pile number 2, what is the T on the? You have knowing. Take the first step. You have crossing the veil with mourning. You have book of spells with learning. You have familiar with deep bonds. You have cloak and dagger with deception. You have the forest, seeing the bigger picture. So pile number 2, right off the bat, I feel like people are talking, and the T on the is that you know when to make a move. I feel like you have an innate ability to know when things have run its course, when you have a gift for timing. Let me just say that. And I feel like it is intangible. It is almost unbelievable how you're kind of like, okay, I'm tapping out here, I'm done. Let me pivot and do this or whatever. And this could be like moving. This could be, I don't know, dodging somebody that you don't want to see. This could be anything, right? When things are going to go south, I feel like you take yourself out of the equation. And this is part of your divine protection, by the way. And people are talking about that. They're like, how does pile number 2 make their moves? And I keep getting pile number 3 in my brain. I don't know why. So if you feel led to, go there. But if not, that's great too. So crossing the veil, I feel like with mourning, yeah. The T on the is that people know that you've been through a lot. Maybe they don't know snippets about your life story. And they can relate to your grief. They can feel your grief at times. And that would make sense with the image that you actually chose, because she seems kind of aloof and removed and kind of in her own world kind of a thing. So, and this includes for my divine masculines. I know I don't talk a lot about it, but you guys are deeply appreciated. And I feel like people can sense that you have a lot of depth to you, that you've undergone a lot. And if they don't know any specifics, I definitely feel like you strike a chord with them, like they're drawn to you. And your mystique as well. Okay, it's part of your attraction, part of your allure. I don't feel like that's anything that you're doing. Now, part of that draw with you and, oh, hi squirrel. Part of the T on the is that I feel like you have the ability to look at yourself in the mirror and really, I don't want to make harsh assessments, like make harsh assessments. That's coming across, you may. Hopefully not, but I feel like you have a very sober and clear assessment for the most part about yourself, and that you're not afraid to really even make that announcement. Not that you're on a PA going, testing, this is what I noticed about myself and it kind of sucks, you know, not that kind of a thing, but that you're not afraid to be human, right? So pile number 3, the T on the also, because I'm hearing I'm only human of flesh and blood. Anyways, this could have to do with maybe perhaps decisions that you made in the past that you weren't very proud of, right? So pile number 2, the book of spells right here with learning. I feel like you have learned through a lot of your mistakes, a lot of, it could be higher learning. It could be also books and, you know, the status quo from the 3D life, from, maybe you went to uni, right? Maybe you pursued different branches of education. Maybe you got a bunch of certificates through the internet. I don't know your life, but I'm going to say that you are somebody who is always evolving, always learning. You always have a book cracked open. And this could be very metaphoric, because in today's day and age, a lot of us aren't cracking open books anymore. It's very unfortunate, very sad. And it actually pains my heart to say that. I'm just saying that about myself, but you could be somebody that is constantly, you know, looking at different resources and sources online in order to further your knowledge and your wisdom. So the T on the is that you're not afraid to deep dive, is my point. You're not afraid to self-reflect, that you are not afraid to take accountability and responsibility in any and every situation, that you will take the time to digest, to process things in order to come out on the other side. And I feel like you've been transmuting this energy a lot quicker lately. This could have been something that you have been able to do throughout your life, but now it just seems like it is second nature. You have it down to science almost, and people are a little bit in awe of that. It makes you very mysterious, very different, right? Because especially in society nowadays, people don't want to take accountability for anything, no responsibility. And yeah, those are just social opinions. I feel like we have been kind of geared up and raised that way with television commercials and things like that, like have it your way, you know. I think that's Burger King. But anyways, pile number 2, the TND is that you have familiars, that you form really deep bonds, and that people really want to know more about that. They're like, hey, do you know anything about who pile number 2 is close to? I'd really like to know more about that. I would like to know, who are they close to? Like what kind of person would be able to get so close to pile number 2, and what are they like? Because maybe just if I knew that person, it would help me understand and make a better assessment of pile number 2. Like, I want to get deeper. I want to get beyond the mystery, beyond the veil, beyond the shadow, beyond the boundary, beyond the barriers, all things like that. So pile number 2, hello. Pile number 2, the T on the is cloak and dagger. So maybe there's a lot of stuff going on that people want to get to know a little bit about your inner world. And this is unpleasant, but I got to mention it with a cloak and dagger. I feel like the TND is that you could be very privy to deception. You could sense it around you. But also, I feel like people want to be deceptive and kind of get into your energy. And they may not have the best reasons for it. So a lot of times we don't want to hear those messages, but I got to tell you, and I feel like you would already know this, by the way, that the T on the is that people try to get close to in order to, I feel like, rob and steal from you. It could be your shine, your glow up, your wisdom, your reputation, but whatever it is. So you've had people, and I feel like this is a cycle. It's like, you know, moths are drawn to flames. Moths are drawn to anything that is bright. And I read somewhere that has to do with their inner navigational system, mistaking that light for, like, you know, they can't see very well. So any light helps them to navigate, and they think that that's going to help them navigate. And so I feel like subconsciously you draw people that could be nefarious, you know, by no design of yourself, pile number 2. You draw them in, and I feel like they just want to learn more about you. I don't know. I don't like this energy, so I want to get out of it. Pile number 2, I feel like with the forest. With the number 8, I feel like you have great vision. I feel like you could have like spirit animals, you know, with kindred spirit. You could have a cat, you could have a wolf, but you could have, you know, spiritual help on the other side in the form of familiars. And apparently I have squirrels. I have squirrels, but I feel like with the forest right here, and this, is it a hog? I think. You have the ability to oversee and not overlook this, but kind of, you know, this is like your inner barometer, your inner meter, testing the temperature and checking things out when things don't feel right. I feel like you would draw your energy, you go within, and you really commune with yourself and go, okay, who feels off? Why are they? And you can kind of pinpoint what is going on. That way you can protect yourself. And I do feel like you are divinely guided. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. Unfortunately, you're just going to have scallywags, and we all do at different times in our lives. Pile number 2, the T on the. Okay, so the T on the, people are talking about your self-confidence. And I feel like T on the is that you have a lot of confidence, and people love you because it's not arrogance. It's confidence. It is very well contained. It's not like, look at me, pick me energy. It is definitely, you can tend to compartmentalize. I can never say that word very well, but you keep everything in little compartments and things like that, including your ego. I feel like you check your ego very, very well. And that's part of the T on the, is that it's surprising, like, because of how strong you are and how mystical you are, how well versed in whatever arts that you practice you are. I feel like you're very humble still. You do have a lot of confidence, but that you draw people to you. And you could draw a lot of people that like want to romance you, by the way, just by the nature of you, by being you. This came out in another one of the piles, but the Ten of Swords right here, yeah, I feel like you've experienced a lot of harsh endings and things like that. A lot of people that have, you know, because the swords or knives to me are the word or communication. So people could have communicated with you harshly. And you could be somebody that really, unfortunately, you invite a lot of looky-loos. I'm seeing a little, tiny little bird perch, and all of a sudden he's like facing me for no reason, you know? So I feel like your energy really attracts people that they're just really curious about you, but also that they just want to gossip. And frankly, I mean, I just feel like, you know, the tea on the is that you have a lot going on. You don't really mince with words and you don't mess with things like that, but people definitely want in your energy and they want to know more about you. Lots of mystery. What is this? So the Hermit, yeah. So the TMD is that you've been on a long journey, and people want to know where you've been. They want to know a little bit about your history. What is that bird? Looking like a leaf falling and then morphing into a bird once more. Wild. So I feel like you could have had a lot of time. You're spending a lot of time like in introspection. And the TMD is that you really think things out. You really, I guess, make friends with your inner demons. You tend to kind of ruminate, you withdraw, you go within, and you really bring back the best of what was you all along. I feel like everything that's been refined, it's kind of like refining gold in a cistern. I think that's what it's called. But the journey of the Hermit is the Virgo. Like, they go on a journey of one, you go towards your past and you do an inventory evaluation, if you will, and you bring back those parts of you, and mostly the part that shines in this lamp, right? And sometimes it is featured as the star in that lamp. And I feel like you bring out your purpose, your inner purpose, and that's how you recalibrate. And people know this about you, or intuitively know, but they don't really understand it. It's like, how do you do that? How do you do that thing? What do you do when you withdraw? I don't get it. Those kinds of questions. That's a T on the, is that people have more questions than answers, though. Hello. What is this? Okay. So these two came up reversed, and the Devil came up reversed as well. So the T on the is, and they're jumper cards too, by the way. I feel like that you have let go of a lot of things. Also that you have escaped things that have controlled you, whether it's substances, people, energies, or blockages, that you've been able to navigate that and escape. And I feel like pile number 2, that this is something that people actually talk about as well. It is a topic of discussion. These two people are like turning blue. I feel like they have like no breath in their lungs, that kind of a thing. And maybe it could have been escaping a situation, leaving a situation behind where you had no voice, where you had no ability to really speak for yourself, that you were controlled, micromanaged, manipulated, that kind of a thing. Yeah, I feel like you've had a handler in your life. And I feel like you left that situation. You're like, nobody handles me. Nobody puts baby in the corner, right? But whatever this is, whether it was a bad relationship or whatnot, I feel like, you know, that's a T on the, is that people want to talk about, wow, the situations that you have escaped, and they want to know more about it. Now with the juggling right here, this is typically juggling of two different ideas, two different things. And I feel like pile number 2, this is telling us that you have made a choice, that you are choosing the one thing, that you are choosing, it's almost like an Ace of Pentacles, a new beginning, but you are making a choice that you're no longer like wearing yourself thin, spreading yourself thin, that kind of a thing, in order to keep the peace and having things disrupt your emotions. I feel like you have mastered those things, and that you are choosing one thing. So if you were indeed somebody who's known for juggling a lot of tasks, or, you know, like going to school and all gung-ho, and working a job all gung-ho, and getting 3 hours of sleep, and overdoing, and so on and so forth, I feel like that is not the case any longer. You have made a choice, and it's becoming evident, and now people are starting to see the fruit of that, and they're speaking on it. So if you have a side business, a hustle, things like that, and you have energetically, because you don't necessarily have to make an announcement of choices, if you've energetically chosen this, I feel like it's going to be more and more evident, because you're going to, I feel like, lend a little bit less of a heart and hand towards a one thing, and eventually that is going to be let go, right? You've got 2, pick one, and that's what you've done. So pile number 2, the T on the These are like really deep what I tell you. Ace of Pentacles. We're going to get closer here. Look, isn't this pretty? What are these cards called again? The Magical Forest Tarot, and they come in this beautiful box, but that's an Etsy find. Yeah, but you are really only nurturing things that are going to grow, that have kind of a sure interest in you. I feel like you have more like a King of Pentacles vibes. It's like it's got to be a sure thing. I want to deposit time, energy, and effort into something that is going to produce something that I really desire, something that I want. I feel like something that you have been baking, cooking, or like behind the scenes, that kind of a thing. Not necessarily that you've been like throwing it out there and everybody knows about things. People could. But if they do, they don't really understand it and they haven't bothered to research it. So they're not really in the know. But this is a lot of growth, a lot of heart chakra activation for you as well. Definitely connected to your heart chakra. And again, echoing a lot of green, the image that you chose. Pile number 2, 7 of Wands. Yeah. So this talks about a labor of love. The 7 of Wands right here definitely talks about your ability to defend yourself as you are glowing up, showing up for yourself, or this one thing, whatever it is that this thing is. I feel like you have proven that you're willing to work hard, that you're willing to go at it alone, that you do stand on higher ground, and that all the other would-be's, could-be, should-be's, right, are over here trying to knock you off your pedestal, which is really kind of ironic and funny because that's a lot of time and energy devoted to like nonsense when they could be working on their own abundance, their own stability, and so on and so forth. So you do have a lot of naysayers, maybe a lot of, I don't know, lurkers, right? Wanting to sting you, wanting to take you down a peg. Something about you triggers them. And I always say it, you know, your light irritates their demons. So pile number 2, what do we have for you? Yeah, Temperance. You have learned the art of balance, that you're very well balanced, that you indeed are a healer. We talked about that a little bit ago. But you're bringing in abundance with that healing. The Temperance card is about someone who's maybe been through it. A lot of heartache, hardships. It could be addiction, right? It could be lessons in love and so on and so forth. It doesn't make a difference what it is. You have found a way to really temper that. And I feel like because of that, the universe is about to help you. The universe is about to really show up with a glow up for you in a monetary way. So that is what I have for you. Much, much love to you. Until next time, namaste. Hi, Pile 3. My name is Griselle with Toughdolltarot, and I'm here to do your reading. Pile number 3. You chose this image on the right-hand side of the screen, and the downloads are short and sweet, but they are as follows. The tea on the is that you are retrolicious. Something about you feels old-timey, old-vibey, that kind of a thing, but with a twist, right? I'm hearing a new age twist, which is very interesting. The tea on the is that you are very polished. You're becoming even more so, that you are determined, focused. I feel like you are also very fancy, that people have a soft spot for you, and that you do gain a lot of favor and people don't necessarily understand it. I'm hearing also, pile number 3, the tea on the is that you're very desirable and also feared. That's literally the download that I got, which is kind of wild because I feel like in my brain, whenever, I don't know, pile number 3s are edgy. You guys are edgy. And I keep hearing in my head, BDSM, even though that's not how that goes. But could be something about that for you. So pile number 3, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle in 3, 2, 1. Pile number 3, welcome to the reading portion of your read. That's redundant. You're welcome. It's really funny because I had a really hard time energetically feeling, what cards to bring out for you. And I feel like people just want to get in your energy, first of all. This is the Oracle deck I have here. So people are very curious. They like being in your energy, but they don't know why. This is the other deck I'm using. And this one as well. But pile number 3, you have Bewitched. Now, is that not identical to the image that you chose? That's really funny. You're under a spell. So pile number 3, you have the Coven. Same placement as pile number 1, same card. Pile number 3, you have Enter at Your Own Risk and Pause. Yeah. I do feel like people have that tendency to do that with you. Pile number 3, Crossing the Veil with Mourning. You have Moonwater. You have Cast a Circle with Raising Your Vibration. So pile number 3, you could be somebody who has gone through all the piles. I don't know for a fact, of course. We're reading for a lot of different people. And once again, only take the messages that really seem to fit. If they fit, great. And if not, discard. No worries there. Pile number 3, you're definitely bewitching. I feel like people get riveted again on your attention, but they feel like they got to take a deep breath. I feel like they got to, preen a little bit, make sure that their back is totally straight, that when they walk in the room and that you're there, that kind of a thing. They want to be on their best behavior, maybe not, right? But also, I just feel like it's a little bit of, I'm getting Emperor vibes, a little bit of antler vibes, right? Or even a little bit of elk. So I feel like you could attract a lot of people, including like people that are older than you, people that are a little bit dogmatic, people that are very different from you for sure. And the tea on you is that maybe there's a little bit of a kink in you, right? That people are curious about what your kink would be, what it is, that kind of a thing. I'm hearing, what is it? We have the Coven right here. So the tea on the is that, yeah, you're also clairaudient, and I feel like you can get a lot of messages from your ancestors, and people want to know, what does that look like? How do you do it? And so on and so forth. But enter at your own risk with the number 11. There is definitely an element of danger with you, desirable and feared. And that was a download that I got from the image that you chose. Pile number 3, the tea on the is that you maybe put people on edge, that you yourself are edgy. Maybe you like dark colors, dark aesthetics. Maybe you're a little bit gothy, that kind of a thing. Is that maybe emo? I don't know. But I'm going to say that people are very intrigued with you, intrigued with your energy. And I also feel like enter at your own risk with the pause thing. They're like, people want to really talk about, like, I'd really like to get to know pile number 3 better, but then I'm a little bit scared, like, of the next person, they don't seem it, that kind of a thing. And those that want to date you or be in your energy romantically, whether partnered or not partnered right now, it doesn't make a difference. This is just the tea on what other people are thinking. They have a lot of speculation as to what it would be like to be with you in the boudoir, okay? I feel like that is a topic or a source of conversation for some. Glowing eyes. Yeah, I feel like people definitely want to get it in your energy, and they want to know more about like your secret life or your private life, that kind of a thing. People could also be known to invade your privacy at times, unfortunately. I'm crossing the veil. Yeah, so I feel like I just noticed this lady standing here crossing the veil. Maybe you've had somebody like cross over, or you are channeling people that have crossed over. And this includes like your ancestors, even if you've never met them, that kind of a thing. You could be somebody that sees orbs, and people really talk about that. People want to know, like, to what extent do your gifts keep giving? Your gifts keep giving. That's kind of funny. Okay, so we have the moon water with reset. Yeah, they want to know like what skincare routine do you have? What is it that makes you so radiant, so attractive, so alluring, that kind of a thing? How do you appear so polished at all times? How is it that even in the middle of a crisis, you are the one that people go to or they rely upon to maintain your brain, is what I'm hearing. So very level-headed, very logical, very methodical, very self-controlled as well. I feel like, yeah, these are kind of like, you know, very similar to the other piles. So also with the nighttime butterflies, the night butterflies, the moths right here, you could attract moths, have moth energy yourself, in a constant state of evolution, causing revolutions with people around you. And the revolutionary factor is that they don't really know. People don't really understand that when they start talking about you. It is an invitation by them to spirit to really help them to evolve, change, grow, become a little bit more introspective, and you know, I feel like experience glow ups and show ups for themselves, even undergo, because we have the moss right here, the night, the dark night of the soul themselves, that kind of a thing. And people are intrigued but fearful about that as well. And you know, we all know it's not super fun, but when you come through it on the other side, it is incredibly necessary. It gives you so much more peace. And I feel like it just really empowers you. And I feel like people see that in you. And so it makes them curious to want to take the plunge, that kind of a thing. You could talk about it publicly, maybe not, or they could have just intuitive knowledge about it. Pile number 3, the T on the is the Magician. So very interesting right here. This magician right here seems to be like planting something that's sprouting a lot of like dreams, a lot of beautiful things, right? And it seems to me this is a little bit of like an elf or a Santa Claus hat. I don't know what's going on right here. But you have all the tools to really manifest, and people are wondering, what are you manifesting? What is it that makes you so solid, so grounded? It seems like you're very solid and grounded. Even if you don't feel that way, other people are talking about how solid and grounded you are and how it is that you have your hand on the wand, right? The very thing that gives you a lot of, I'm hearing emotional glow up, a lot of pizzazz, a lot of excitement, but really I feel like an ability to chase your dreams and manifest those things that you want. I feel like also you're manifesting a lot of tools, a lot of people around you, and that is a talk. That is a talk of the town, I hear, but that is a T on the, is that you've been able to manifest a lot of favor, a lot of help, a lot of helping hands in order to really achieve what it is that you want, your glow up. And this is serving to really help you remain grounded. And it's incredibly like shocking for some people that are watching, and it could be even like stunning and shocking for people that have known you of long. So right here with the sword being firmly planted, you have that ability to really communicate, and people want to know but they're afraid to ask. It's like you're always busy, they don't want to interrupt, that kind of a thing, but they want to ask, how do you do it? Can you show me as well? And I feel like this is a lot of like correspondence, but this could also be downloads from spirit that you're getting in your crown chakra. But people want to like send you text messages, things like that, but you're really focused on a mission. And there's a lot of talk about that. Yeah, 10 of Swords. This is so pretty. So the 10 of Swords, pile number 3, people are talking about the levels of experiences that you've had with betrayals, with tough times, with people like coming for you for no reason, that kind of a thing. But also I do feel like you might have a hater or two that is really the T on the is that how you betrayed them, how you did this to them, and how they're the victim. So, you know, it could be either or both. It really depends on the perspective, but I'm looking at this octopus. I feel like you've kind of escaped this situation, because with the octopus, they are really, really cunning escape artists, right? And if you have one in your fish tank, I mean, be prepared to go through wild measures to get that little guy not to be able to morph and escape. And I feel like the T on the is that you made an escape out of a situation. It could be recently, in the recent past, that really served to want to hem you in, to want to control, things like that. With the 10 of Swords right here, I feel like even the T on the is not nice. I feel like people are actually making things up. They are bending and twisting things into grand illusions. And I feel like you know that intuitively anyway, so you're not really worried about it, because I feel like in the end, I feel like even, you know, even a child is known by their actions. right? So yeah, this really kind of confirms that. Pile number 3, the T on the is that you are in a stalemate with someone, or maybe many someones, right? That there's no communication, that you've, ended things, or maybe people want to bury their head in the sand about it. But the Two of Swords, this is about also, I feel like, being in a stalemate, but not everybody taking part of the responsibility in what transpired. So I feel like you could be villainized, or you could be seen in the villain era, which actually fits 100% perfectly with the image that you chose. Pile number 3, your level of self-care, your level of awareness, and how you're navigating and making moves is just stunning and show stopping is what I'm hearing. And also, I feel like for those people that are speaking negatively about you, I feel like they speak negative about everybody. Okay, it's not just you. They're angry with everybody, not just you. They have nothing nice to say about everybody, not just you. So pile number 3, if you're the sensitive type, I would not even bother. I feel like people are starting to really understand that these people will twist, turn, and bend any narrative to suit their book, suit their timeline, suit whatever it is that they're trying to twist things into, right? And so I feel like the stalemate is there, and people, there's a lot of destitution here. There's not a lot going on for this ostrich, I guess, who wants to bury their head in the sand, and they do have that little wrapped eyeballs and things, but they don't want to see, their participation in this stalemate, in this non-communication situation right here. I feel like people do see with clarity around them because they've talked everybody's ear off about the situation, by the way. But that is a gossip around and then we have the devil. This could be Capricorn energy. This could be, about, I almost feel like that was kind of like hands. So it feels like, pile number 3, the T on the is that maybe you get riveted on situations or focus on things and you cannot let go, will not let go, that kind of a thing. Won't stop, can't stop, which good for you. Everything in moderation. Pile number 3, the T on the is that you have taken away maybe somebody's power. And I almost feel like with this finger kind of leveled up, it's like this person would love to give you the middle finger, that kind of a thing. They are upset. They are definitely angry, but also they can't look away. It's not like they're focused on their own thing. They want to bury their head in the sand and think, well, I threw rocks, but nobody saw it. Bitch, we have you on CCTV, So something to that effect, but I don't think you're even worried about things any longer. So pile number 3, the gossip, the T on the. More information, please. Yeah, massive ending. So whatever it is that you ended, I feel like it is opening you up to the cosmos, a new life. I feel like you do carry obviously some scars and some wounding and things like that. You could partake, because I'm looking at the poppy. Maybe you even watched Judy, yeah, on Netflix, which is the story of Judy Garland, the last year of her life, or you watched The Wizard of Oz, or there could be something meaningful in The Wizard of Oz for you. Maybe perhaps this is stating that you went off to see the wizard. You figured out who the wizard was. You took back your power and you're like, that's the wizard? No way. That kind of a thing. And you radically changed your life. And this is tea, okay? Because a lot of people are definitely discussing and talking about it. How this ending has been radical. How you are birthing, new situations and new things. How you are maybe even rocking people's world, rocking your own world, that kind of a thing. Because I just slammed the camera all over the place. Pile number 3. What is a T on the? Yeah, you definitely have like some looky-loos, which we've gotten for all 3 piles. What is a T on the? Okay, yeah. So what the T on the is that you're enjoying your life with the number 1414 on camera right now. That people are drawing close to you. That maybe, I don't know. I'm hearing triad. I mean, I don't know your life, so maybe you're in a throuple. That's not for me to, weigh in on a judge. Maybe you were polyamorous, something like that. But I feel like people are really embracing you and receiving you as theirs. And I feel like pile number 3, the T on the, is that Also, you are really just in celebration mode, almost like footloose and fancy free. I don't feel like that's like the real narrative, but this, keep in mind, is a T on these, like, oh, you're enjoying yourself, you're enjoying your new life, that kind of a thing. With the Emperor, I feel like somebody who felt like they were the emperor or thought they were the emperor, because the emperor is a rule maker. This is like, it's my way or the highway, and I feel like you chose the highway. And I feel like you became your own emperor. I feel like you have become whatever it is that you were lacking or felt like you were lacking. And I feel like pile number 3, the T on the, is that you have evolved to such a point that it has been really unexpected. It has been beautiful to watch. It has been a battle. I'm hearing mud wrestling. There could have been a lot of mud thrown on your name, that kind of a thing. But the T on the pile number 3 is that you have come out unscathed, even more beautiful than before. Yeah. The T on the is that maybe perhaps you've left people behind that are stuck in their emotion. I'm hearing lost in emotion. So, and I feel like this could be like the revelation of who you are has really astounded other people or astonished them, or people that thought that they had a say-so in your life or wanted to control, weigh in, or otherwise just manipulate and control, right? This could be involvement with a narcissistic boyfriend, husband, wife, suitor, brother, sister, whatever. Doesn't make a difference. I just feel like they're starting to see that they feel out of control with you being in control of yourself. The more that you gain control over yourself, the more they become out of control, the more emotional they get. I'm hearing even like out for blood, that kind of a thing. Hopefully not. But pile number 3, what we have on the right here, I forgot to tell you, is that this octopus, to me, it looks like some, you know, blood droplets. I don't know if I'm even allowed to say that. So this could have to do with like your family line, your lineage. But I'm also hearing that you are the curse breaker, that you are bringing new things into your family lineage. And that's what people don't really quite understand right now. But I do feel like that is a topic of conversation. I feel like part of the T on the is that people see beyond the false narrative that other people have developed around you in order to try to control presentation, in order to try to control and really explain away the way that you are now or things are now, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so the T on the is that maybe you are a highly sensitive individual. Maybe you want things just to be kind of boiled down to something more simple, more controlled, getting in tune with your own divine nature, with spirit. Also, you could have an apology coming from someone, and this is a doorway. You've had to travel long and hard through this doorway, and I feel like right now you're tending to your own garden. This gives me like the 9 of Pentacles vibes a little bit, and even though I don't want to make these like super long, the T on the what else? Yeah, so I feel like you've traveled long and hard, and you've had reason to be defensive. You had a lot of betrayals, a lot of people, you know, talk about you for no reason at all, maybe just out of jealousy, that kind of a thing. And I feel like you are, you know, no worse for the wear now, but you've undergone experiences that maybe made your heart sad, things like that. But I feel like you are getting back on your feet. I do feel like you are highly esteemed. You have a lot of fans, a lot of suitors, things of that nature, and a lot of opportunities. But I also feel like you're incredibly guarded. You're incredibly guarded. You're not willing to be anyone's jester, right? You're not willing to be clowned by anyone any longer. And that was part of this move, this thing. Yeah. Pile number 3, you have made a judgment, and good for you. I feel like you are embodying all the things that make you great, all the things that maybe you could not express before. For some reason, I'm getting a real spirit, a monitoring spirit, or a spirit of attachment to you as well. Like somebody who wanted to live vicariously through you, and you cut that off as well. So that is what I have for you. Let me know what you think about this reading. Much love to you. Until next time, namaste.